Whether voters are deciding on gay marriage or immigration law, modern-day ballots are often loaded with citizen initiatives. The use of the initiative was first introduced to American states during the early 1900s, a time which is known as the Progressive Era. The research I will present today will show that because of frequent use, the initiative has evolved into a device for wealthy special interest groups and corporations. Today, the initiative is no longer the great balancing tool for the common citizen it was first intended to be. According to Rubin, the initiative was introduced to American states during a great time of political corruption. Elected officials were often only interested in satisfying the corporate leaders in order to secure their own re-election bids. Now, the author Dinnan noted that the intent of the progressive movement was to root out corruption in state legislatures while giving power to the citizen to enact state laws. During the first half of the progressive era, citizens used the initiative to balance power, and according to the experts Smith and Tolbert, much of the early legislation focused on social issues that benefited a majority of citizens. However, Psaki noted that with the tax revolt ushered in by California's Proposition 13 in 1978, the ballot measures became more focused on limiting rights and shrinking government. With the increased use of the initiative, the common citizen has been pushed aside, and as noted by Lasher, Hagen, and Rochland, now only powerful corporations and wealthy individuals can use the initiative with ease. The process has become under the influence of wealth and power once again. Now, when we look at this chart, we can see the number of initiatives that voters in the 23 direct democracy states have considered in this century. The number of vertical numbers here are the total number of initiatives, while the bottom row represents the century broken down by decade. As we can see in the information collected from the Initiative and Referendum Institute, we can see a huge jump in the use of the initiative in the first decade, and then a fluctuation, a steady decline, but within the last 40 years, we can see a steady increase in the use of the initiative. The solid bar here indicates 371 initiatives the voters have considered so far, and this decade is not complete yet. We have statistics only through 2008, which is the last year we have data for. This is significant. This increase is so significant because in states like Oregon, according to the Secretary of State, the number of signatures needed to qualify an initiative for the ballot is actually based on a percentage of the total number of voters participating in the last gubernatorial election. This is important because, according to Van Sloanbroek, the volunteer groups are often very unable to collect large amounts of signatures in a short amount of time. And Broder notes that with wealthy individuals and powerful corporations, they are often able to dedicate time and resources to pay people to collect signatures. Paying people to collect signatures is why Kluth has said that we have seen a growth in the initiative growing business collecting signatures. And this business is one reason why we see grassroots organizations being held powerless. The increased use in the initiative has caused a major shift back to the powerful and wealthy groups. So to conclude, the intent of the progressive movement initially worked, but in the last 40 years, we have seen a direct increase and a major shift. Today, the common citizen has difficulty moving initiatives forward, and while the common citizen is left out, the powerful corporations and wealthy individuals can move the initiatives forward with great ease. The common citizen has very little power once again, which is not what the progressive movement intended. Questions? Yes?
What are the differences between the laws enacted during the first part of the progressive movement and today?
Simply, they focused on social issues. The first couple of decades, they focused on social issues like voting rights, property rights, rights for workers, and wage guarantees for workers. In the last 30, 40 years, we've seen more rights taking away rights of minorities, more laws taking rights away. We've also seen more laws limiting how government can collect taxes and what services it can provide. And that is mostly noted in works done by Rubin and Denon. Question?
Is there any movement to regulating or limiting the process to balance the initiative process?
Yes, there is, but because we have 23 different states to that allow the direct democracy, we could have 23 different solutions. However, Broder noted that if, like in Oregon, for example, Oregon limits how signatures can be collected, who can collect them, and if you are paying to collect signatures, you are actually now an employer. So there is some movement, but however, we're probably never going to see an elimination of the initiative or limiting how many can go on a ballot. That's all I have time for. Thank you.